So let's get right into it, as we always do. Let's start with the top story today, the Donald Trump hush money trial, as some call it. I think people say that's a little misleading when they call it hush money trial, because paying somebody quote unquote hush money is not necessarily a crime. So it sort of diminishes what is actually happening. But the defense rests up today. And let's get here to an article. By the way, if you're ever going to do a podcast and you need a nice, quick articles that pretty much just get right to the point, Axios is a great place to go to. But former President Trump's defense team rested its case Tuesday without calling him to testify in his ongoing New York hush money criminal trial. Of course, that makes news because Donald Trump the whole time, as he always does, says, I'm testifying, I want to testify, I'm going to testify. And then when it comes time to testify, he backs out like every single other time. And there's always an excuse. He says his attorneys wouldn't let him. I don't know if anybody on the planet who has even known who Donald Trump has been for just a few months would even believe that his attorneys are controlling this case. In fact, there was a witness that they called yesterday, Robert Costello. It's actually going to come up in this article, who was a witness that the defense attorneys didn't even want to call, but Donald Trump pretty much made him call him to the stand. And we'll get into that in just a minute. But final arguments are scheduled for next week, after the former president's fate will be in the hands of the jury. Trump, who has denied wrongdoing, was charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records in connection with a $130,000 hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels over an alleged sexual encounter. Trump's legal team rested their case after calling Robert Costello, an attorney who once advised Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen. So Robert Costello apparently testified in the grand jury hearing that led us to this particular case now. And from all accounts, it was a complete shit show. I mean, he went up on the stands and it was very performative. It was testimony in order to basically please the master, Donald Trump. He was huffing, he was puffing on the stand. He would, an attorney would say something and he would use the word strike that. The judge looked at him and said, I'm the only one that can say strike that. Stop huffing, stop puffing, stop sighing. And apparently Robert Costello, I don't know if he thinks he's some kind of mafia guy or tough guy, but he was glaring at the judge. The judge called him out for that. Then he was trying to stare the judge down. The judge called him out for that as well. He cleared the courtroom, cleared even the journalists there, and just really laid into Robert Costello. And a lot of people are saying that if Donald Trump had gained any momentum in this case, because I guess there was a time or two where Michael Cohen was caught lying on the stand, and they thought that that was a big win for them. Again, I take it with a grain of salt because there are a lot of people talking about this case, and you kind of wonder, sorry, I just went out. You kind of wonder, are they on the side of wanting to see a conviction, or on the side of wanting to see an acquittal? So you get kind of different opinions, but a lot of the opinions that I've heard were that Michael Cohen's testimony, even though it was a little off, and there were some moments that the defense attorney scored against him, that overall it did not overcome the overwhelming amount of evidence in this case that convicts Donald Trump. So we'll see. But a lot of people are also saying too that Robert Costello's, if they did have any momentum, that this one probably may have killed it. But of course, we're going to see. We'll see what happens in this trial. There are 34 counts, and I would be shocked if he was found not guilty on all 34 counts. So we are apparently probably going to have some sort of decision by the end of the week or next week. and we will see. I think closing arguments maybe I think is next Tuesday if I read that correctly. But as this trial goes on, we have seen the Donald Trump sycophants come to the courthouse and hold press conferences before or after or in the middle of these trials and really embarrass themselves. I don't care what side you are. I'd be embarrassed. First of all, I'd be embarrassed if I were a surrogate for somebody who was deemed a rapist, somebody who basically tried to destroy democracy after Joe Biden clearly won and fairly with absolutely no evidence of wrongdoing or any evidence of stolen election. And there's another 100 other things that I can name as to why I'd be embarrassed, but to go there and speak for him, and that's basically what they're doing because it's a ploy. Donald Trump can't say things about the judge. He can't say things about their family. He can't say things about the witnesses. So he brings these clowns out and they come and do it for him. And I think Donald Trump even kind of tried to pretend as if they're doing this on their own. Clearly they are not. I don't know how you have any sense of pride whatsoever, but these are people who just care about power. They care about the voters that they get from this clown. But we're also going to see at some point as to whether or not this strategy is going to work for them in the future. Maybe in their districts they do. But anyway, this is the B team, maybe the C or D team that was out today. There was a particular moment that I found pretty funny. Maria Salazar, I'm not familiar with her. It was her turn to talk, and she finished, and I think a reporter asked her if she can get this in Spanish. And as she moved away from the mic, another gentleman named Troy Niels, another guy I've never heard of, he moved into the mic, and it was his turn to talk. But Miss Salazar continued to talk, and just watch the reaction of all the men behind her. And we'll talk about that after the clip.
The Lord of Abraham, the Lord of Jesus, protect us because we are in a very dark place.
And there's Christian Donald Trump Jr. behind him listening to the sermon. But as this video goes on, it gets whether you think it's funny or uncomfortable or both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will get
Thank you.
En español, dime. En español, yes.
Lo que acabo de
decir es que esto es un circo político. Nosotros we are the largest minority in the country, the Hispanics. Los hispanos somos la minoría más importante en los Estados Unidos. Esto es un circo.
The faces of lady shut the fuck up are starting to appear.
Político que solamente se ve en Cuba, en Venezuela y en Nicaragua. Es una vergüenza que nosotros, independientemente de lo que usted piensa de Trump.
Now the white male faces are listening to this Hispanic woman go off in Spanish, and I promise you this is driving them crazy.
Si le gusta Trump, si no le gusta Trump, lo que piense de él, en realidad es que en este país no se logra.
There's the how do we get out of this look.
Una lucha política en las cortes se logra en el ballot box, en las urnas. Y por eso le estoy diciendo a los hispanos, wake up. Despiértense, que lo que está pasando es marxismo y nosotros vinimos a este país para no tener esto, sino para que
Donald Trump pretending not to want to blow up right now, telling her to shut up.
El futuro de nuestros hijos sea un futuro glorioso en un país que es el American exceptionality.
Fantastic job.
Okay, lady, now go get us some beers. That's exactly the attitude that they had in that whole video. At least that's how I saw it. If you guys saw it any differently, comment. Well, I don't know. I guess you can't comment because we're not doing it live. But comment below the video and let me know what you thought. If you thought that you agreed with me or you had a different take on that. But I saw that as basically a bunch of guys looking around saying, oh, my God, how do we get out of this? And who brought her here is basically what I got out of that.